I got in trouble and they sent me to Canada because I threatened to kill Shawn Michaels and the entire Kliq. They hit, I thought that, I thought it was them.
Nonchalant, he just said that.
Oh, I meant that I meant it.
I brought him back up today to deal with your silliness, and
he could actually be like I started doing comedy, right?
You've been doing comedy forever.
I'm booked. I'm traveling. I'm actually doing Bret Hart's. I'm gonna do Cap City in August.
I've got a venue in
South
Idaho
Carolina.
for you.
I'm having a good time.
Well, wait a minute now. How long has this been going? Because we hadn't seen each other.
About 6 months, 7 months.
Have you really? Because we hadn't seen each other in a while. I mean, we
I
text
did
back.
Calhoun's
In Boston?
Yeah, about a month ago.
Calhoun's in Boston. That's where we all used to eat after the shows.
Crispy beef.
Yeah, everybody would converge on Calhoun's, and
had 250 souls.
So where did that come from?
It's just I've been about 2 years ago, I did open mic, and then Mick Foley came to town, and I was like, man, I should get up and do a couple of minutes. And he was like, yeah, you can do it. And I went up there, man, and it felt real good. It felt good. And then Sam Roberts had a comedy show, and you ain't supposed to really do time at Caroline's.
Right.
So Caroline's is like WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So my first real stand-up was at Caroline's.
I'll be damned.
I started at the top. It's been downhill ever since.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I try not to think what you think.
Well,
most
that's
of the time.
because you're on a couple levels below my thought process.
Okay.
Kill Tony.
Oh my God. So do you know what Kill Tony is?
No.
Oh. So, okay, a buddy of ours, he was on the show. Hold on. First of all, let's before we dive into this, let's Magic Mind here. Send us
So
some
we're
stuff.
clear, so we can actually
Yes.
have intellectual conversations.
Yes. So this has like ashwagandha in it, so it boosts energy and focus.
Doesn't that make your wee bigger too?
No,
Hey,
that's a
every little
different
bit
sponsor.
helps.
That's a different sponsor.
Since y'all
Ashwagandha. Somebody ashwagandha, man.
It makes your penis bigger.
I mean,
where can we find this?
that was more of a question than a
Let me tell you something. If
statement.
ashwagandha can make your penis bigger, I will drink 2 gallons of Magic Mind a day.
You might be able to find it.
So
2 gallons.
2 gallons.
Be 2 cold Scorpio around this piece.
let me tell you something. So Magic Mind, this is going to be a one-time sponsorship from this ad that we're doing here for them. Get 48% off of a subscription or 20% off by using Undertaker20 at checkout. So head over to magicmind.com/6feetunder. This is going to be a little bit more of an all-natural. It is a slow release energy throughout. Mind focus. It's actually good for you, which is something that you and I don't put a lot of in our body as good things. And
potentially
in our bodies.
and then we got
and potentially could make your wiener bigger.
Could potentially make your wiener bigger. And you know what? If you don't like green stuff, this stuff actually tastes pretty good.
Yes, it is pretty good.
It's only like 2 ounces.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Yeah,
So,
I don't need none of that.
yeah.
I got enough problems.
Okay, all right, back now.
Kill Tony.
Kill Tony. So Tony, you ever watch JRE or the Rogan's podcast?
Yeah.
Anytime there's a wrestler on it, Tony Hinchcliffe is on there.
Tony Hinchcliffe, yeah,
Yes.
I saw him at the Mothership.
Yeah, exactly. So he does every Monday. He does a live podcast, but he brings up comics, and they get what 3 minutes?
1 minute now.
1 minute now.
60 seconds.
To impress Tony, and I mean
They have like a panel up there, and it might be it's always Tony Hinchcliffe and Redman. They're the ones that run it. They got their band and all that stuff, and then they'll have like a guest or two that are. It could be Rogan. It could be. I think Tony Hawk was on there the other day. They'll have Shane Gillis. They'll have other comedians, and everybody puts their name in the hat, right? And it's a bucket, and actually his action figure is hanging off of the bucket. But there'll be 200 names in there, and everybody will be over at Poor Choices on 6th Street waiting. They'll run over and grab them, bring them in, and they have 60 seconds to do their best minute. And at the end of it, Tony, let me tell you something. The interview process is the best. So when you go home today, just go on YouTube, look up Kill Tony. You can start on any episode. They're all great. And it's just him lighting these people up when they suck.
But that's what would be the great part. That would be the great part, though. Because I doubt that you would. But even if you sucked, he's going to put you over. He's going to put you over because he's afraid you'll kill him.
He's such a wrestling fan, right?
Huge wrestling fan.
So he's going to put you over no matter what. But the other thing is when they do have, like the Insane Clown Posse, one of the guys was on there the other day.
That's comedy right there.
Well, it was also a train wreck. Like, it was, yeah.
It's a surprise to me that it was a train wreck.
Well, the thing is as you know, Mark, now getting on stage.
That was sarcasm, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There's a feeble attempt at it. But
no, I felt it. I felt the sarcasm.
Yeah,
oh, my God.
It was a train wreck. But it's getting on stage and actually doing stand-up is a lot different than sitting here
being funny.
And being funny.
Right. Yeah.
Like understanding how to write a script, understanding how to do a punchline, understanding all that stuff. It's very difficult. And a lot of people that don't know how to do it, and they all of a sudden just go up there and it can fall apart pretty quick for them.
Yeah, I do my best to set things up, and I start a certain way, and then I introduce this, and then later on I'll come back and pay it off.
But now think about it. Yeah. Now you got to do it for 60 seconds.
But 60 seconds adds a little bit of a quarter to it because you can't do like a joke and then go into something else and then shoot the with the fans and then follow up.
Yeah.
You got to hit it and quit it like a James Brown song.
Oh, that's right.
Bobby, can I hit it? You got it 1, 2, 3, bang.
Yeah.
And
prom night.
Yeah, I like. Yeah. Hey, in and out.
In and out. I love a burger.
Ashwagandha. Brought to you by Ashwagandha.
So 6 months. You've been doing this for 6 months now.
Yeah, been on the road.
That's crazy.
It's been fun.
How often are you? I mean, you're out what?
Well, I don't have no bookings this month, but next month I'm in South Carolina.
What part of South Carolina?
Alabama is the musical guest, and it's at a barbecue championships, and I'm the comedic MC, so it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
That is because how long have we known it? What you came in what 95?
In 95.
95. I don't remember a lot of things. Obviously, we have this discussion a lot. I don't remember a lot of things, but I remember the day I met you. It was me and Godfather, and Vince. Man, Vince was in love with you. He was in love with you.
Yes.
He just like, man, we've got this Olympian coming in, and brought you into the Garden, right? And of course, me and Godfather, right? And Mark is just
blind.
He's blind, but
wrestling blind.
But he's happy. I mean, he's so excited, right? And there's a big difference between Mark smiling and Mark not smiling. Mark not smiling is a terrifying human being.
I could imagine.
And especially then, because you were probably another 80 pounds heavier.
Yeah, about 85 pounds.
So Mark's backstage at Madison Square Garden, and he's meeting all these guys that he's seen on TV and everything, and he gets this big old smile on his face. And me and Bear look at each other and said, "Look at this big old baby face right here." Well, Mark, being a tad bit sensitive back then,
and still
a little bit. All right, I was gonna wait.
Big teddy bear.
So baby face. He don't have a clue what a baby face is, right? Heels, baby face, but me and Bear are like, look at this big old baby face. He got bowed up. Ain't no baby.
I ain't used to getting picked on.
You're always the bigger guy.
I was not. Listen, I grew up with a guy that was a 3-time All Southwest Conference football player. I got 4 people in my family won Super Bowls, 2 Olympians. Like, we don't take no shit.
Yeah.
Like, my son, right now, I put him against anybody in Austin that's not a professional fighter. He will knock your face in. I'm dead serious.
Jacob, but
So,
we'll get there. I'm just saying, like, so.
And now you're walking into this locker room.
But I didn't know what a baby face was.
Yeah.
And we were just like, none of that, no terminologies. So when he said baby face, I thought it was like, I ain't no baby.
So you thought he was calling you a baby.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were like, whoa, big fella. You know, everybody was like, kind of got a little giggle out of it. And I was like, whoa. That switch just got flipped really quick.
So
Which I would say and over the next 20 years, I would see that switch get flipped.
Oh my God.
A few times. But it's amazing. It's amazing the difference when he smiles and when he doesn't smile. Okay? When he's smiling, like all my kids, they will climb all over him and just play with him. But I've seen that switch get flipped. It's like
we're gonna have to get to that because I can't wait for the day that Kaya and Joanna tag team in wrestling and just take over the world. They're gonna beat the brakes off all the girls.
Joanna got it.
She got it. My daughter's wrestling too.
And how old's your daughter?
She's 14.
Okay, so she's just a little bit older than Kai.
I remember, I don't know, she might have been a year, maybe year and a half. Mark calls me. Mark, and in public, Mark, he always, Dad. He always calls me Dad. Dad. I said, what's up, man? Next thing he goes, she got the gene.
She got it, bro.
She got the gene. Yeah. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, she got the gene, man. So she is just a phenomenal athlete, as is Jacob. But I mean, you'd expect it.
I got baby pictures of her holding like, you know, the water, the gallon jugs have the little U handle on them.
Yeah.
She's got 2 in each hand, like this, walking with it above her face.
I don't think I can do that now.
Here you go, Daddy. No. Like, you know, she just always been strong and explosive. And her first day wrestling about 5 months ago, never wrestled before, never had a session, beat a boy. Beat a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of that.
And I just sit there and watch, and you know they say no parent coaching.
Yeah.
You know, like it's so hard for me. I'm like,
Now, did you wrestle?
Joe, get his leg.
Did you wrestle in high school and stuff?
They didn't have wrestling
Not in
when I was in high
Texas.
school.
Really?
Not in Texas.
Some of the private schools did, but
So you
public
didn't wrestle
school,
either
I
in
didn't
high
wrestle
school?
either. No.
No, man, I wish that they had it. I understand why in 84, 85, gymnastics and wrestling, they had club teams, and there were so many injuries because nobody knew really how to coach gymnastics.
Yeah.
Nobody really knew how to coach wrestling. So you have all these neck injuries and stuff. They ixnayed it, like right away.
Shut it down.
It's been gone since I think they started back in '91. So it was gone like almost 2 decades.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. But now the programs are. Wow.
Yeah. And like my son, he's going to University of Oklahoma to wrestle.
Why you had to bring that up?
I don't know.
I'm so proud of Jacob, honestly. I am so proud of him and everything that he's gone through.
You didn't have to wear crimson and cream yesterday. Day before yesterday.
Don't I don't need to see that.
Is he just rebelling? Is that what the problem is? Do you think
No, it's not a rebelling thing. It's that they showed him a lot of love.
Yeah.
And Gerald Briscoe was like, "Don't you let him sign with them."
Jerry Briscoe,
want him at Oklahoma
Oklahoma
State. And I was like, hey, John Smith, I was on the Olympic team with him. And he just retired last week. I reached out to him, got no response back.
Really?
So, I mean, they're going to have the next 4 years, like heavyweights are going to, in America, going to be in trouble because he going to get better every week and ain't nobody going to work harder than him.
That's awesome.
He was what, 16 when he squatted 600 pounds?
Yeah. He squatted 650 this summer.
Well, I've told Mark this, the running back from my high school, he's going into his 11th grade year. He just broke the state record for squatting, and he's a running back. And he's a 5-star. And
like one of those Chubb types.
Oh yeah, yeah. And he's insane, and you know, and God bless him. And when he goes and becomes the running back for the University of South Carolina, and the SEC.
Why you gonna see? When he goes to see, now this comedy.
When he goes to South Carolina, come on, Mark, come on,
get it up here, get it up here.
Yeah, you can pick up a lot, but you can't pick up that leg, can you? Yeah. And the University of South Carolina is running the ball down the throat of Texas, and for the next 4 years.
Hey, listen, South Carolina and Debo, the middle linebacker, is being mentored by my cousin, Michael Strahan. So I know.
I like how you dropped that, my cousin, Michael Strahan.
My kid, he won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
2 of them, by the way. And he loves Debo, but Debo is an undersized linebacker. And when they play Texas, the running backs are bigger than him. Mm-hmm. And it plays the fact that that's why Alabama used to just, in Georgia, match everybody. They get the biggest guys, the strongest guys, and then they make them whatever position they want them.
Well, that's why Debo's on that ashwagandha. He's going to come out there with that big dick energy.
Yeah, he's going to come out there with that big energy.
He's come out there with that big dick energy.
Y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready for this.
No, well, we'll see. I mean, I'm just glad that Texas is actually in a real conference and actually going to play real football.
Everybody's been talking for years. Hey, wait till Texas gets there. They're going to see what the SEC is about.
Well,
yeah, the SEC's about to see what Texas is all about.
Hey, Texas let 2 guys go in the portal that weighed 350 pounds because they couldn't get on the field. Wow. It don't matter if you got a big one. If you ain't good, then you ain't good.
Texas is good and they're deep. That was always been the problem is they had no depth. Now they're big.
And
well, now they're getting talented. Recruits because the recruits are like, oh my God, you guys are going to play in the SEC. We're going to play against real good football teams. So it's like now I can actually play for a football team that's going to play other good teams.
Y'all only got 4 teams. The bargain basement teams in the SEC will get killed by the mid to lower teams in the Big 12.
True.
You know that, right?
How much are you sniffing of that boom boom stick? I mean, is it? I mean, have we looked at the side effects?
I took about 4 hits.
He's clear. His mind is clear.
Very clear.
He's making perfect sense.
I think you need to get on the magic mind and get some real clarity. Cause
he's clear.
I don't need that magic mind. Magic mind gonna have me over at the Rose.
At the Rose. Oh no. Give me that. Give it to me. I'm taking that away from you right now.
I'm retired. Hey, listen, I used to live in the strip joints.
Yeah.
I retired about 10, 12 years ago.
I don't know if I feel comfortable talking about this anymore.
I'm happy that I retired now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go back. But I'm going to tell you something. When I was out there in them streets, man, I was out there in them streets.
Carl Malone told me, he said, man, he calls it going to church. And
we got saved.
We were in Vegas, and he goes, Matt, you want to go to church? And I go, Carl, we're in Las Vegas, man, at a show. And he's like, yeah, just meet me downstairs. We're gonna go to church tonight.
Thank you.
Testify. Testify.
I mean, what is it about strip clubs and wrestlers? Because
you don't get bothered.
You don't get bothered. And people think we're full of crap.
Girls.
You think we're full of crap because everyone will tell you this. Everywhere we go, by far, some of the most recognizable athletes.
Yeah.
I mean, our faces on TV 4 or 5 hours a week. People know who you are. So we started going to strip joints because the guys that go to strip joints, for the most part, are there.
They're distracted.
They're distracted.
Mark,
As a pre-workout.
I know you love First Form, and I know you've been on this train for a minute. You're trying to get me on the First Form working out train.
Yeah.
They're a great sponsor. What is this that I need to be taking? I don't.
So this is the ignition. Now
Okay.
you can take it pre-workout.
Okay.
Kind of fills you up full of carbs, gives you that energy to make sure that your workout stays up there at peak levels.
Okay.
And then you can also take it after your workout, because after all those carbs and all that energy you've just depleted out of your body,
Now I need to have energy.
now you got to restore it. So ignition, that's your one right there.
I know that you like that ignition.
I like the ignition, the Project One, excellent pre-workout. Whatever it takes to get you motivated.
This is going to be what motivates me, though. All right. Well, Mark.
Well, I hope that motivates you. I mean, I would think looking in the mirror would motivate you to get to the gym, but I didn't mean that. I totally did.
And first,
That's heavy, though.
It is heavy.
I mean, that's almost your working weight. There.
Almost it's 2.26 pounds worth of ignition. So, do I take the whole thing at once, or do I?
You could. I don't recommend it. Just follow the instructions. Just follow the instructions.
Well, all right. So our fans can go to First Form. They can go to the link in our description and pick some ignition up then, and some other supplements.
They got protein. They got pre-workout, post-workout. They got all your workout needs covered.
All right, cool.
They can do everything but work out for you.
Perfect. I'm going to go there now, and the next time you see me,
Buff.
you're going to essentially be like, "Oh my God,
You're jacked.
yeah, that's Jay Cutler." That's exactly what you're going
Is
to say.
that your goal?
Yep. By next week.
Next week.
Yep, Jay Cutler.
I think you can do it.
Awesome. I'm going to start now. Thank you.
So we can go in, and it ain't even necessarily all the time about the girl. It's about just sitting down there, being able to drink, unwind, have a good time, and not have a meet and greet for hours on end because all the guys are throwing dollar bills, and we can sit back and drink, and it's dark.
And the security, most of them guys used to be old wrestlers or tried it once or twice and was like, no thank you. And, they bounced in the clubs, and they keep people away from you. And you get I saw a guy in Philadelphia take a dude's phone and just snap it. He was like, don't take another picture. Matter of fact, you and your people, y'all get out of here. Like, it was that level of protection that you got. And I usually went to the ones that had good food too. There were some places that actually had like really good. There's places like the one in Minnesota had a steakhouse.
The Cheetah in Atlanta. Cheetah's in Atlanta.
Well, they had to bulldoze that place because of drugs.
But the food.
The food was great.
Unreal
and even
there.
Today, they make references on NBA Countdown about every time they play in Atlanta, the people go to Magic City to get the chicken wings. You remember the last year or 2 years ago, one of the basketball players was late to a game.
Oh, in the
Lou
bubble.
Williams.
Yeah.
Lou Williams in the bubble. And no, that was 2000. That was 2020.
Yeah, they were just.
They were in the bubble. He got out of the facility and went to Magic City and got $100 worth of wings and brought them back for all the rest of the basketball players. Come on, man.
Come on.
That's good.
Them wings, them lemon pepper good as hell.
Yeah. I mean, I never went there, but I definitely Cheetahs. Yeah.
The Cheetah.
Yeah, the Cheetah was
The $58 100-day age ribeye.
They got good food.
I remember.
Yeah, they had good food.
You're getting old when all you talking about the strip joint is talking about the food.
Is the food.
You know your life has turned a complete 180. when you just talking about the food.
What was the strip club in Atlanta where the lady crushed the beer cans with her boobs?
Man, I never went to those joints like that.
Oh,
No,
it was pretty run down. Her daughter's now doing it. It's a family tradition. Her daughter has now
She gave her the skill. She passed down the skill.
Yeah, it's a gene. She's got the gene.
She's got it.
She's got the gene. She'll take beer cans and put them between her tits and crush
She
the
put them
beer
between them or under them?
between her tits and crush a beer can.
Wow.
That's talent.
Yeah.
But see, those places draw a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Like the wrestlers tended to go to places where they didn't want
A
attention.
little seedy, little different.
No, not even that. It
Not
didn't have to be
seedy,
seedy.
just off the beaten path.
Okay.
And the popular places, like, hey man, y'all got a back door. Like everything that you can do to avoid the line and people walking in, that's what you tried to do.
Yeah.
Like it's like you rarely get no peace. And that's the thing about wrestling. I mean, football players, you know, they most of the time they got a helmet on.
Yep.
You don't even recognize everybody. You only recognize about 30 or 40 NFL football players. Basketball players, if you're not the face of the team or the face of the league, people don't recognize everybody.
Yeah.
But wrestling,
Man. Holy.
the money is here. And I watch about 17 hours of wrestling a week
Good
for
Lord.
Sirius XM and to call on Busted Open all of the wrestling shows. I can recognize people. I see people and I go, hey, you wrestle for MLW? And they go, yeah. And they're shocked.
Yeah.
But that's the way the fans are. The fans, they see people and they just recognize them. They know who people are and they follow them. And even if they're not a fan of them, like they still, like I'm walking through the airport and I see this guy, Joe Hendry. He's a wrestler at TNA. Never met him. And I was like, that's Joe Hendry. And normally, you know, the old vet guys wait on the young guys to come to them. And I was like, Joe. And he turned around and he saw me. He was like, oh man, Mark Henry. And he came and we talked for a minute. It was like, wow, that's different. If I didn't watch so much wrestling, I wouldn't recognize all these people.
I can't watch it. I can't watch it that much.
It's a lot.
I know you
hurts.
have to. No, I know.
I watch it and it hurts.
It does. It's
What
different.
hurts about it?
The number one thing that people don't do in wrestling is the struggle. I was taught the struggle of wrestling. And you ever seen somebody arm wrestling?
Oh, yeah.
And you see the guy go this way, and then that guy's like, no, you don't. And he starts going back this way. And then it's like, yeah, and then he's going back. That's a lost art in wrestling. And what's supposed to happen is supposed to be a f***ing secret. I know what's going to happen with most matches because they don't disguise it. Mm-hmm. They don't allow you to go into a blind belief, suspended belief, to where you don't see it. I should be able to pick up every human in the ring, but there's a time when you're not supposed to. So now I gotta, go punch at somebody and hit the pole, and now my hand hurt. And I try to pick him up. I can't pick him up.
Storytelling.
It's the storytelling of where you go in a match. My hip, my back. Owen Hart used to make me laugh so much because he would always do either a backdrop and he would go, my shank. And I would be like,
He would say
what is a shank? Like he was nuts.
Oh, I know. I'll get you back. Owen would like he'd be throwing you in for a spot or something like that, and he would just make up some kind of ridiculous, impossible thing to physically do on the move, right? And you're turning like, what are you? And he's like turning, double reverse monkey flip, head scissor. And you're trying to process that while you're in a full stride, and then he comes up and he just takes a tackle or something like that, and you are just like your ass is puckered because you have no idea what you're about to do.
I think the best one I ever saw, and I legit got in trouble because I started laughing. I went down to both knees in the middle of a match. I'm in a battle royal, and they were like, "What were you doing?" And just fussing at me. And I was like, Owen grabbed this guy named Shawn Stasiak. We in a battle royal. It's like 25 people in the ring. And he shot him off and told him, "Hey, duck the clothesline and cross-body me." I'm standing this close to him. I hear everything. And I went like this, and he shot Stasiak off.
You don't do that in battle royals.
He was doing like this, dodging people, and hit the ropes. And I'm laughing, and I went down to both knees and got fussed at because I was so entertained, and the people in the crowd had no idea.
They had no clue.
Yeah,
it was for Owen. It was for him.
That.
He was just doing it for him.
And he do it all the time. I don't know if you were there yet. We were in the Philippines, and I think it was Yoko and Owen against Lex and Davey Boy.
Oh God!
And they were in this tag, right? So Owen calls this spot, shoot me off. I'm going to duck your clothesline. He's telling Lex this. I'm going to duck your clothesline. When I come off the other side, press me. Of course, Lex bit hard, right? So he comes off, and Owen just octopuses him. Like, he cannot get him. He's got him wrapped up, so there's no possible way that he can press him, right? And Lex is not giving up, right? And he just drops, and he did to a big pile of crap. And then Owen's like, "Tag your partner," right? So Lex is now, he's flustered, and he goes and he tags in Davey Boy, right? So Davey Boy comes in. Owen calls the same spot with Davey. Boom, he comes off the rope, and Davey just lifts him right up. And Davey's like, he turns to Lex, "I'm the strongest in the team." That was the kind of
all the time.
And people, you just can't tell from the audience, but if you're out there and you can hear it, and if you're even watching it, you can tell what Owen's doing.
Owen would be the most entertaining dude in wrestling today because now it's really entertainment.
Yeah.
It's a comedic element to it. There's never been nobody funnier than Owen Hart.
It's built for him right now.
Man, there was they used to have a show called the Pig Pen or Hog Pen or something with Phineas Godwin and
Mark.
Yeah. And
Henry Godwin.
Henry. And they would bring in barnyard animals and stuff for them to do this segment, throw hay everywhere and pay bills, and they would do their gimmick. And we pulled up. I was riding with Owen at the time, and the people with the animals had just pulled up, and they was like, "Hey guys, do you know what we need to do with these?" And Owen said, "I do," and left his bag and said, "Follow me." And I knew, I was like, "Oh, what is he doing?" And I'm hurry up. I park the car. I get my bag. I get his bag, and I'm trying to go in the building. I'm looking. Hey, where did Owen go? And they was like, "He went that way." And I went, "Oh no!" And I knew exactly what was that way in this arena. It was Vince's office. He took chickens out of the cage, a pig,
a goat.
Bro, like they shit everywhere. There were chickens on the ceiling fan, and Vince, like, you could hear him. "Owen!"
He knew exactly.
He knew, and Owen was like, "What are you talking? I wasn't even there.
I wasn't even there."
And that was his response for everyththing. And Davey, like, they would look at Davey. "I just got here." And like they were in complete denial for everything. I'm telling you, they would be so over today
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
that nobody would be remotely close. There was no such thing as Jackass. There was no such thing as Punked.
Yeah.
They were doing that way back.
Yeah.
Bro, they would be so rich. Podcasting and
with the social media and stuff. I mean, you're looking at like vignettes that are essentially just on social media.
I don't even know that Owen would do it. Owen just did that. I mean, he did it to the
entertain
boys.
himself.
He did it to. He just did it to the boy. He was the best, for the most part, harmless ribber that ever. I mean, he was always in the right place at the right time. Like, he would be in the hotel lobby when somebody would like have food delivered to the hotel, and he would get the food, like he would get somebody else's food. He wouldn't do anything to it, but then he would call from the front desk, like he would take it so they didn't have to take the food up to the room. Owen would get on the house phone and call whoever ordered the food, and then he would be the delivery guy, and he would put on like some strange, some strange voice. You come down here and get this pizza. I've been out here waiting for you 30 minutes. And the boys, no, well, just bring it on up. They said, no. You get off your big lazy ass, get out here, and I better get a tip. And this would go on, right? So the boys would bite every time. And so the boys finally, they'd get so pissed, they'd come down ready to fight. And then Owen's gone. Like, Owen leaves the pizza or whatever it is on the desk, and now he's hiding somewhere so he can watch. Just so he can watch. And then guys coming down in their shorts and their flip-flops looking for this delivery person. And, who's here? Who was that?
The worst investment that I ever made was I had 2 nickels to rub together, and I bought a box phone. And you unzip the bag, and then it had a cord on it. I wanted to be fancy.
Well,
dude, that was more than 2 nickels.
Yeah. So on average, a month was about $700.
Yeah.
You had a good plan then.
There were times where I had Southwestern Bell, and it turned into AT&T. But that's a whole nother story. The biggest bill I ever had was $2,300. And I mean, it was Owen and me playing on the phone. And the rib was on me. I thought it was great. It was funny at the time until I got that
bill come in at the end of the month.
And Owen would call his dad, and he would be like, "Excuse me, sir, is this Stu Hart?" And he'd go, "Yeah, who the is this?" And then he'd go, "My name is Robert. You didn't pay your taxes. We're going to have to come and take you home." And he would do all these jokes. He got my mom. I had never heard my mom cuss. I grew up in that house for 18 years.
Never heard your mama cuss.
My mama was the church lady. And Owen called her one day and told her he was going to come by and take her house because she didn't pay the taxes. And she was like, "Wait a minute, I pay everything. I pay all you," like, yeah. She just going through it. And Owen said, "Listen, lady, don't get smart with me." And my mom said, "What?" And I'm over there just dying laughing. And at one point, he said, "If I have to move you out myself, you're going to have to get out." She said, "Well, bring your ass on. I will you." And she just went off. She said at least 8 cuss words that I had never heard. She had never cussed. I'm not making this. You call anybody in my family and say, "Hey, the Barbara Jean cuss." Who? Your mama? No.
That's
Owen
awesome.
was
not till Owen Hart got
bro. That dude is
he cracked more people than, oh my gosh.
Was him and Bret polar opposites?
Yes.
In that sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bret. Complete. No, Bret would laugh. I mean, he'd be.
Yeah.
He'd sit back there and just laugh at Owen because he saw this his whole life.
Yeah,
he was used to it. And Owen didn't rib Bret because they would fight. And you ever seen them fight? Like, it's the funniest thing in the world. There's a lot of pushing and like, shut up, man. Just shut up. No, what are you gonna do? You gonna fight me? And Owen said, I was always better than you anyway. And he would be like,
and I get under Bret's skin.
I could imagine.
Bret would start breathing heavy, and he'd look away like, "Don't do it, don't do it." And they never like fist fought, But it was always this tussling and pushing around stuff, and then they separate, and then it'd be over with.
It'd take him right to the brink. It was
Owen was, bro. He was special.
Oh man, yeah.
And I feel so bad for Martha, you know, like to lose him the way she lost him, when she lost him. Like the dude was like, he was one of those dudes that he went home actually.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the boys, you know, you go home and you got other agendas at home. Owen was a good dude. He was a good
dad.
dude.
Good dad. Yeah, he
always at the kids stuff.
But
and it sounds like you guys were pretty close. You were on the road.
Yeah,
y'all rode together.
I love that dude, man.
Yeah.
He was so much fun. He taught me a lot about being a man too.
Yeah.
And how to deal with the locker room, because I got in trouble and they sent me to Canada because I threatened to kill Shawn Michaels and the entire Kliq. They hit, you know, I thought that, I thought it was them.
Nonchalant, he just said that.
Oh, I meant that I meant it. Like, but I found out later on it was Paul Bearer who hit my crutches. And I blamed it on Shawn now because they came up to me, hey man, they hit your crutches? What happened? And I was like, man, you too small to be talking to me. I said, I will kill you and everybody that know you.
Paul Bearer was evil, man. I'm telling you, Paul Bearer
he was a wreck.
Paul Bearer almost had the whole Kliq killed.
So you remember Sid Vicious?
Oh yeah.
So Sid was behind Shawn, and when I threatened them, Sid was like, and I was like, you breathing heavy for? I'm not talking to you, but if you want it, you can get it too. That's like, he know who I am.
Yeah.
And he was like, when that switch flipped, man, who you are. Ask Vince himself.
Yeah.
I told Vince where to take a step back. Like, you in my face? I don't give a how much money you got. You better back up. He's like, you're crazy. No, I'm not. I'm mad. And that's when I was stupid. And, you know, you can't be in a professional industry with no couth. You can't.
Yeah.
They're going to get rid of you. And that's what happened to me. They were like, I would just rather pay you your money and you get the out of my face. So they sent me to Canada. Because I didn't know, nobody ever sat me down and taught me wrestling etiquette. See, now they got the developmental system and NXT and mentors and this, that. They didn't have that when I came in. I had people ribbing me, belittling me, jealous of me, mad that I was getting the money that I was getting because they had worked their whole life, and justifiably so. I know what the business is now. If I was them, I would be mad at me. But they sent my ass to Canada, and I would see Owen every week. And Owen would be like, man, you know why everybody mess with you, right? And I was like, it's because I'm black.
Nope.
And Owen said, no, it's not. It's because it's entertaining. When you mad, bro, it's like the best thing in the world.
Wrestler 101. If somebody ribs you, you don't sell it.
Yeah.
That's and that was what he had to learn.
I didn't know.
It didn't matter what it was. Like if somebody messed with your gear, whatever it was, you don't sell it. You don't until you know who it is,
and
then you can extract your.
And he taught me how to deal with that.
Yeah.
He was like, you don't do it in the locker room. He said, because it's never gonna get resolved. He's like, you gotta find people when they all by themselves and nobody else is around. And you walk up and you go, hey, I don't like what's going on. And if you do it again, I'm gonna find you like I did today, and ain't gonna be nobody here to break us up. And I'm gonna hurt you. A la John Bradfield, Layfield. They was on my ass. I caught him under the bleachers. And I said, John, the day is the last day. If I catch you like this again, they're gonna have to bury you. And he's like, what the f is wrong with you? And I said, I'm done with the jokes. Like, don't mess with me no more, because I'm gonna find you. And I'm gonna have my way with you. And he was like, you know Ron is the one that put me up to this. Everybody like you. They just like to see you mad. And I thought about what Owen said, and I was like, damn, they do like to see me mad. And then I went to Ron, and I said, John, Ron, why would you do that? And he's like, Mark, even you got to admit, it's funny as hell when you get mad. You can't even put a sentence together. You can't even put a sentence together. Because when I get mad, I lose my ability to communicate, and all I want to do is these.
There was a time, and I'd be at home, and my phone would ring, and it would be at night, and it would be Mark, and I was like, oh, like I knew I had to answer it because I knew he was about to kill somebody. I bet I got, if I've got one, I bet I've got 15 calls through the year with him ready to kill somebody, and some.
The last one was Vince.
And some, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Some were way, way up the totem pole, and I'm like, Mark, I understand, but you know what to, just take a deep breath, walk around, and he would be so mad. Then I could get him calmed down a little bit. He said, yeah, you're right. All right, okay. But dude, there's a lot of people that owe Owen and me their lives, or at least being able to walk upright because.
So with that being said, Mark, speaking of locker rooms, speaking of people to kind of help you along the way in that sense of like what Owen did, and it sounds like what Taker did. What was he like? What was Taker like in the locker room? What was for you having someone like him? Because you always hear about Taker always being the locker room general, the guy that kind of kept everything together. What was that truly like?
Well, one, like, I always equated to like the mob. And the mob always has the boss.
Yeah.
And like the boss, you can't do nothing without the boss' permission. And everybody thought that was Vince, but it wasn't. It was him. Vince was the benefactor. He was the owner of the company. He had all the power in the world to make every decision, but I guarantee you he would not have made those decisions without counsel. And from a business acumen, Vince probably handled the business and then delegated other duties. But when it came to how the company's future is going to go, I know it was him because I remember how many times I saw Vince pull him and asked him questions rather than it be the other way around. And that's just the powers of observation. But then you get to the respect factor. Like, there was nothing that that was asked of you that he wouldn't do himself. And the fate of your paycheck relied on the top, the main card. And he was the main card for over 20 years. And if you was on a tour, with Taker or Steve or Rock or one of those elite Golden Circle type guys, your money went up.
Yeah. So
there was that too. So you always wanted to be on those cards with the main guys. Yeah. And I was on some cards with Batista and Randy when they was starting. And man, when they switched me to SmackDown and I was on that card, I was like, what the hell happened to my check? Put me back on the other side. This is bullshit. But it's like, also, anytime you needed advice, like, even he was busy, man. Like, I remember him and Kane were attached at the hip, and it was a lot going on, and I was doing, they had stopped me from being Sexual Chocolate, and I was going to, go into the Nation. And I didn't know what that was going to be. So I'm asking questions like, all you need to do is just be quiet, listen, stand there, look mean, and they'll tell you what to do. And so I got advice that a lot of guys was kind of, I don't know if they was afraid, but it was like, I was welcomed into asking those questions. You know, like, and there was a lot of guys that, man, the Dudleys. I hear all these stories. We mentioned Shane Helms. Like, there were guys that was like dead or take. What would you do in this situation? Even contracts. Like, there were guys that was on the fringe of going to WCW or being out of WWF at the time, and they would be like, man, they offering me more money. He knew what Vince's plan was. I don't know, I wouldn't go over there if I was you. You know? He didn't come out and say, hey, Vince gonna buy that shit, and then you're gonna be out of work. He didn't have to say it, because the people that asked that he felt like were a valuable commodity, he would give you the right information to make your own decisions. That's what good leadership is. And the locker room is based off respect and being able to trust that the information you're getting is good, because you can't take advice from everybody.
Yeah.
That was what he told me. He said, you can't listen to everybody. And it took me a couple of years to realize what he was saying. I was having fun with guys, and then with my road buddies, and I wanted to have fun over business. And then once my ass came back from Canada, it was different, because I think Bruce Pritchard and Tom Pritchard they said, you made the most improvement in wrestling history.
Oh, wow.
This is Bruce Pritchard said that. He was like, I never seen nobody go from being where you got kicked out of wrestling and they were thinking about just paying you and letting you walk, to being a main event guy and main event WrestleMania with the dead man. It don't happen.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, like, I believe in divine things. And I told him a dream I had, and he laughed because he thought that I talked to Vince. You remember that? I told you about the dream of me and you in a match at WrestleMania, and I was looking up and I saw the ceiling was wood.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if that's what the dream looked like, then that's what the dream looked like. And then he was like, so he told you what we thinking about? And I was like, no.
Rosemont Horizon, we did WrestleMania. The ceiling is wood.
Really?
We doubled down. I'm looking up, and the ceiling is wood. I saw the future. It wasn't a dream. It, like, the human can do stuff that we can't control that. We can't call that.
Yeah.
Like, so when I started telling people about my faith and my ability to have success wherever I've had success, is because of my faith.
Oh, absolutely.
And, we talk about all the bad stuff, but, like, I'm one of God's chosen people. And I consider myself to be more like David. I was more suited to be outside the church with a sword than in one of the pews, listening to the message.
Yeah.
Like, some of us are built to defend, and, people, they hear the word angel and they think, oh man, wings and fluffy white clothes. Go to Revelations and read about what an angel is.
There's some bad dudes.
Angels are the one angel, they say, could take out 1 million people. 1 million?
I feel like you might be an angel.
That'd take you about a week. That'd take you about a week to go through Earth. It'd be nobody left. Yeah. With 1. Never to mention 12. So I'm just saying, like.
So you had that dream and you called him up and said.
Yeah, but his leadership was like, getting back to the point, I'll go off on tangents. His leadership is what afforded you that wisdom. Like, now you're able to say, oh, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
But that's what I tried to do. I tried to help people come to their own understanding rather than tell them what to do. Because when you start telling people what to do, people start looking back like, trying to get me to, you're trying to manipulate me into this.
But that's the other thing right there too. Like,
that.
It's one thing to sit there and have a conversation with Taker, right, and him give you advice, but it's you're going into wrestling as you're an Olympian. You're the strongest man in that locker room.
He's got his own set of credentials.
Yeah. Now all of a sudden, you could have easily have said, "Man, don't you tell me what to do. I can handle this. I got this. Don't worry about it."
How many people have you ever met in your life? Been to Parliament, been to the Kremlin, and been to the White House? I'll wait.
I'll take a shot.
Just one. I've been to all the head offices in the world. I've had experiences that I could say, wow, that was cool. I did Oprah before wrestling.
Yeah.
I did Leno and Conan O'Brien and all that stuff before wrestling. What I was outside of wrestling is what Vince wanted to bring into wrestling. Now you got wrestlers that go on talk shows all the time.
Yeah.
That never happened before.
But you could have went in there with a big head saying, these guys can't tell me nothing. Taker can't tell. I mean, I got this, man. I know what I'm doing. But you humbled yourself enough to go, this isn't my expertise today.
But
I should listen to a guy like him.
I had some lazy, self-absorbed qualities because of that experience too. Like there's a video of me reading a sports page before practice when I probably should have been reading a wrestling book, or I probably should have been asking Tom Pritchard, because he was the first coach I had. So what we gonna do for practice today? Man, I went from looking at the sports page to, all right, let's go run the ropes. All right, put the paper down, and then I go do what I was told. But like preparation breeds success.
Yeah.
And I knew that already. Why didn't I do it? It was like, I don't know. It took a couple of ass whoopings for me to get it. And one of the number one ass whooping was when they brought The Rock to Connecticut. And the first day that he got there, he could run the ropes already, drop down, leapfrog, get it again. And I'm like, he just got here. Like I was in shock. And he was like, man, you just don't study enough. He's like, you still a fan. This is coming from a dude that never wrestled before. He never had one training session. He like my son.
But
if my son was here right now, he could have this conversation with us.
Yeah.
Because he know wrestling. It ain't nobody in NXT got his acronym. Nobody. And they've been there for 4 years probably. That's how in tuned he is in understanding. Yeah. Now he ain't never had no formal training yet. I let him get in the ring with some guys and play around and do stuff. But his understanding, it will be way better than mine because he's been exposed to it, like Dwayne.
Yeah,
right. Dwayne was exposed to everything.
It's a legacy.
Sitting with his grandma on his grandmother's lap while she booking the territory in Hawaii and Los Angeles, and his mom and his dad. So he understood stuff that I didn't, and he was on his own journey.
Yeah,
he wasn't babysitting me.
Now, did you ever look at him, or did you see something in him that night at Madison Square Garden, or later on down the road, where you were like, this guy's got what it takes if he would just maybe apply himself a little bit more? Or
well, it was obvious because even strength was his deal and lifting weights, but Mark was an incredible athlete. I mean, back then I think you still could dunk a basketball, and I mean he defied what your eyes would let you believe what he could do. So, like, even when I come up, that was how I wanted to set myself apart. The big guys were just kind of, they lumbered around. They couldn't move. And Mark was athletic, and I was just like, man, if I can get this to Kliq in his head, he's going he'll own the world just because of the things that he could do, plus his already had his own background, like he just said. So it's hard. It's hard for people to come from from football or even MMA or these different places that have had, especially if they've had success, to come into our world and do things. A lot of times people are just completely shocked at our workload, at how we are not. Well, it's better now. It's a lot better now than what it used to be. But you think as much TV as that's on, you think, man, all these guys get catered to left and right. They don't know that you're about to put in 800 miles and rent a car in a week, and you're paying for it, and you don't have a handler. This is all stuff that you're doing now. You're the one that responds. You're going to be out on the road for 25 days straight. You're the one that's responsible for keeping your clean and figuring out where you're going to stay and where you're going to eat and what you're going to do. It's a lot, especially when, I'm not completely 100% sure, but when you were training for the Olympics, you had to train. That was what you had to do.
Yeah, I mean,
you had Terry and everybody else that handled probably everything else for you.
Yeah,
all you
I didn't
had
wash
to do was
my
train.
clothes.
Yeah.
I didn't.
You had one singular focus.
Man, before 96 games, Terry had a house on Ironbound Island in Nova Scotia.
That's up there.
I mean, up there, Halifax, Nova Scotia area. And I spent 7 months straight on an island. Like, literally 4 people were on this island. Me, Jen, and Terry, and the guy that handled the lighthouse. That is it.
Ain't much distraction up there.
No, I mean, you're just
maybe a polar bear or two.
And you're just focused at that point just on one singular task.
Wake up, train, eat, sleep, stretch, train, walk into the ocean at 45 degrees, come back to the house, eat dinner, get ready to do it again.
So did wrestling almost feel like, man, this is like recess all of a sudden? I just went from like, I can actually have fun. I can hang out with the boys.
Too much fun.
Yeah. I'm making money. I can hang out with the boys. I go stand in front of 20,000 people and have them cheer my name.
But see, I was still a fan.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that it would have almost been better if I was not a fan of wrestling, because I wouldn't have played wrestling. I would have tried to work at wrestling. Like, it took for me to go to Canada, and Leo Burke, who was my second coach, who famous maritime wrestler, trained Bad News Brown and a bunch of, you name somebody like outside of Stu Hart, it was him that he trained everybody. And he was like, when was the last time you watched wrestling on? Oh, I watch every Monday. He said, no, not that. Because he was old school. He was like, come over to my house. I went to his house. All the wrestling I watched was in black and white. He had reel to reel.
Yeah.
You know where it's.
Oh, yeah.
Don't say it. I swear I'll come over there and punch you right in the face.
So you watched a lot of Undertaker highlights then.
See, I know his stuff.
I knew it was coming.
I knew his stuff. I know his stuff better than he knows his own stuff. It's lobbing stuff up there.
Did you see Coco Beware almost get killed in that?
Oh, here we go. Let him finish his thought before you get on it.
Man, but I got up there, and now he's stopping it and going, why did he do that? So what you mean, why did he do it? And he was like, why did he do that? Like, he used to yell at me. And I said, man, you got to stop yelling. He said, everybody going to yell in wrestling. You sensitive about people yelling at you? I said, yeah. And he said, well, get over it. That was tough.
Tough love.
Yeah, it was. I considered he was a mean old prick is what he was. So I hit. There's a famous football player, won Grey Cups and stuff. Glenn Coker, and he was training to be a wrestler, and I headlocked him, and I saw it on TV. So I was like, I'm gonna headlock and throw a punch and hit him, and I busted his nose. Blood was going, and I was oh. Sorry, man. And he was like, man. And then Leo said, that's not how you do that. Come here. And he grabbed me in a headlock, and he punched me and busted my nose. Bang! Blood everywhere. I said, what the you do that for? And he was like, you did it to him? He said, learn how to work before you do something. Like, he was tough. He was a drill sergeant, like, trainer.
Yeah.
And Stu used to say all the time, after you quit doing the wrestling, come over to the house. And Stu was the one that showed me how to fight. I never knew how to fight. I boxed, but I got my ass kicked because I was 10 years old and then I had to fight in the 12-year-old category because I was 240 pounds.
Jesus Christ.
They beat the out of me. And so Stu was showing me how to fight and do joint manipulation. He said, with your strength, you can break a man's hand. You can break his wrist. He's like, you put your chin in the eye socket and you pull the back of the head till it just cracks. You know, that's Stu Hart. He was a bad dude.
Yeah.
Like if he would be alive today and is 27 years old, MMA dudes would be scared of him.
Wow.
He was a bad man. And so like being in the dungeon and going down there and really learning how to do stuff, and he said, don't ever do it in the ring. Don't ever do it in wrestling. He said, if you somebody try to test you outside, you make an example of them. But he's like, you never do this to one of the boys. And when I came back from Canada, I was different.
Do you wish you would have went to Canada before you ever, yeah?
Yeah, that's why they have NXT. So all the people now, you're welcome. I was an experiment. I was the first developmental wrestler. They had never trained you to be a wrestler before me. You went into a territory, you swept the floor, you learned how to put the ring up, you ran errands.
Paid dues.
You paid your dues. So I did that, but nobody never said, Mark, why would you do this? And, I saw you learn how to do that. Where would you put it in the match?
Psychology.
And why? So when you learn where you do it, why you do it, and where to put it, now you're a wrestler. Until then, you're just a dude that was a fan. And I was a fan. And I thank God for Shawn Michaels and the Kliq and Paul Bearer for stirring the shit because they got me kicked out of wrestling. And I needed it.
We're post WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I think the most impressive thing of all of WrestleMania was seeing you get back in the ring.
No, well, thank you. It was fun.
Yeah. And for you to all of a sudden grab the Rock and pick him up and choke slam him, you got him up pretty easy.
Well, it may have looked that way, but it was as hard as a rock.
I could imagine.
I mean, but that,
Did you have any help?
I didn't have any help getting it up that time, but there are certain times I do need a little extra help getting it up.
Really?
Yeah.
Even for the Undertaker?
Dude, it happens to everybody.
Really?
Yeah, even the Undertaker.
Wow.
I mean,
you didn't have any help getting him up, but you've had to get help getting, like, what are we talking about sex?
well, I mean, yeah, we're talking about sex, but when you have a reputation as being a big stiff, I mean, you got to back that reputation up.
Absolutely.
So, as you become an older taker, it's sometimes you need a little something to help you rise to the occasion.
Well,
And that's what I do. I rise to the occasion. So I found a little secret.
really? Mm-hmm. Please
inform me.
Can I trust you?
Then probably not, but I mean, it's 50-50 at this point.
Dude, Blue Chew.
Blue Chew.
It comes in a small little package.
Just like me.
Just like you, a small little package. You tear it open, looks like a little pill. You chew it up, dissolves. Next thing you know, brother, you got boner power.
Really?
I'm telling you.
Man.
You make that sucker
simple.
stand at attention. And, you're an ex-military guy. You know about standing at attention.
Oh, I can stand at attention. I mean, not like I used to.
But, hey, do you want to? If you want to go back to the glory days?
I would love nothing more.
Blue Chew's the answer, man.
Tell me more.
I'm just saying. This thing, it's got all the active ingredients of any boner pill, brother.
Really?
Yeah, but it's just easy. It's easy. All you got to do is boom, pop it in and just wait for the fireworks.
Man, this seems too good to be true.
No, brother. It's science.
Science.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Well, where can I tell me more about this? Where can I find Blue Chew? How do I get my hands on this miracle? How do I get my hands on this miracle?
Go to bluechew.com, brother. It's as easy. You can't forget it. Bluechew.com. And so, and just because I make sure that everything is legal, listen to this.
Okay.
I'm going to read you a few things
Tell me. It's like a bedtime story.
This is a bedtime story. I like how you did that.
I'm going to close my eyes and we'll think about Amy.
Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in a chewable tablet. And at a fraction of the cost. So that's the part I know you really like.
I like a good save. I like savings.
You like to save some money, even on your boner pills.
I like a deal.
And you can take them, you were talking about in the daytime, you can take them anytime, day or night. So you can plan ahead and be ready whenever the opportunity arises.
Right before church, pop a couple of men.
See how I did that?
Yeah.
That's one of the best times ever, right?
Right before church.
Yeah, man. Process is simple. You sign up at bluechew.com. You consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Now, the best part, you ready for this?
Oh, I'm on the edge of my seat.
It's all done online. So no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. So in case you got nosy neighbors, there ain't nobody going to be in your business.
So
they're not going to know you got boner pills sitting on your front
My
porch.
mailman's not even going to know.
No, he ain't going to know. He ain't going to know.
That's nice.
Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. You, Matt Lyda, they want to help you have better sex.
They read my mind.
Yep. So all you do, discover your options at bluechew.com. Now get this. You chew it and do it.
I'm chewing right now.
You got to chew it in your mind, right? Can you visualize it? Can you see it? Chew it and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I can visualize it right now.
This is the best part right here.
Oh, I'm enjoying it.
We've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code 6feet at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's bluechew.com, promo code 6feet to receive your first month free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we want to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
You don't think you'd have the Hall of Fame career
No.
if you'd have never went
If I hadn't got kicked out, there's no way that I would have learned all the stuff. Because probably how to deal in the locker room, and I did learn how to wrestle too. So, and I was comfortable with fighting because all the that I learned from Stu. And then I went to Louisville. They said, hey, we want you to, we opened up this new developmental in Louisville called Ohio Valley Wrestling, which had been around for a long time. Jim Cornette and Danny Davis ran it. And so I went there and I jumped right in doing the training, and Rip Rogers was the trainer. And I don't know if you know who Rip Rogers is, but he's crazy as bad. And his training methods are elite though. Like he knows how to get the most out of you, and he teaches you psychology as you work. So you go in, and once you get tired, then you start learning how to wrestle. You do all these blow-up drills, and you get to the point to where you're like, hold on. He said, okay, now you're not going to hurt nobody, but you could hurt somebody.
Yeah.
So now you got to focus on not killing the person you're in the ring with. If you hit somebody, you're getting punished. So there was consequences for hitting people or hurting people.
A lot of times people get hurt when they're gassed.
Right. So you got to
You have to learn how to handle that.
How to handle that.
So he would gas you, and then you would learn how to work while you're gassed.
While you're gassed.
Because you're at the worst of the worst at that point.
Yeah,
And
like don't pick somebody up over your head and you're balled out tired.
Yeah.
Like you got to find another way.
Yeah.
And what can you do when you're tired? Grab a hold and work a hole and not sit in a hole. Like, so it was like Rip was like his thought process for wrestling. He was an elite wrestler. He just had a lot of mental issues and got in trouble too much. He should have been great. He should have been Ric Flair.
Yeah.
That's how good he is. But everybody's not meant to go to the big dance.
Yeah.
And he was just one of those guys, bless his heart. He tried, but he just can't.
So you go there, you get it sounds like you get the tools that you need to become an actual real professional wrestler. I want to talk about WrestleMania against this guy right here.
Oh man.
Because I think there's a lot of people out there that being able to because you're a former champion, you've had the strap around the waist. But there's a lot of people, I believe, that the opportunity to wrestle in a WrestleMania against The Undertaker would trump even having a belt. And,
yeah,
but
by
I mean,
far.
What was that like for you? What did that mean to Mark Henry to say, I was one of the guys that got to step in the ring with The Undertaker for WrestleMania?
Well, before you get to WrestleMania, there was a build-up. There was about a 2-year process of me working with him. We had like eulogies and all the TV stuff, but I worked on the house shows, and I had never had a 20-minute match on TV or at a house show. And this is like leading up until WrestleMania 2020, the WrestleMania 20.
Yeah, WrestleMania 20.
And 2 years before us in Chicago. So that was a 2-year period where I would work with him on house shows. I would work with him in Europe. I would work, and I never got to do that before. And the level of confidence that I had, I could wrestle anybody now after being there with him, because he taught me how to create space. I had wrestled already 8 years, and I still was learning.
What does that mean? What does that mean, creating space like that?
Well, letting some of the stuff that you do, let it mean something. A lot of times, especially in this day and age, and it goes back to storytelling too. Like, it was hard for me to work with people. There wasn't a long list of people that could get actual heat on me. Mark could. But what happens when you get Undertaker down, well, shit, they want to chug right into it because I got him down. And it was just the ability to, okay, let that breathe just a little bit. I'm not talking about turn to the fans and ask for that. That's what everybody does now, right? They stay focused on the crowd and asking for that. It's like, boom, give me something big. Hold me up in that bear hug for a while, and then drop me or whatever it is, and then you're almost like I'm a piece of meat, and you're the great white shark, or I'm a wounded seal, right?
Yeah.
Let me sell what you've done. Let me sell what you've done to me already. And you are watching me helpless. And now it's just a matter of time before you go in for that final bite or
that
whatever.
allows the crowd to soak that up too.
Yes, and let the crowd get.
One of the greatest lessons that I learned from him was when I say creating space, and he would say, listen, one, you want to win. So every time you do something to me, try to cover me. And then he'd kick out.
Yeah.
And then he was like, don't come grab me right away. He said, measure me. He back up about 6 feet. He's like, because if you this close, you should get me. If there's about 3 paces in between, then you have reason to just to stand there and turn around. And he wouldn't look at me. He would sell to a place where he turned, and then I would be there. And I learned how to close the distance. So people don't understand, like the elite guys get that because they in the ring with him, or they in the ring with Shawn Michaels, or they in the ring with Triple H. But the guys that don't, there's a reason why you main event, and it's the little bitty things. And I was able to learn the little bitty things from probably the best guy that ever did it. He would probably not put himself as the best guy, like maybe Andre or Hogan or somebody. Okay, maybe not Hogan, but he would put himself beneath people that were great because of who he is as a man. But I'm gonna say that he's the best because, one, I know everybody else. All the other elite guys are like, bro, nobody was above Taker. Every Mount Rushmore got him on it.
Yeah.
So it's got to be right if it's on everybody's.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My ass ain't never going to be on a Mount Rushmore. Eating.
That's my Mount Rushmore right there.
You know, me and you.
That's a whole other podcast. We're talking about eating.
Hey, me and Yoko would be number one. Yeah. But that's a whole other story.
It was basically focusing, and what most people don't do in this day and age, and even back then, it was a big disconnect, are the transition stuff. Mm-hmm. What you do between the transitions of the big moves, that's the stuff. And people don't know what they're seeing, but they know there's a difference. And when he's talking about, I never looked at him, what I'm trying to do, I've just taken a big slam, or I've taken a clothesline, or I've taken something from him. What I never tried not to do until the very end, when it was time for me to do a setup or something, is when I was selling, is sell on the move. Like he has kicked the shit out of me for the last 10 minutes. And what I'm trying to do is get away from him and get myself up.
Yeah.
And pull myself up. And then right as I'm almost up, that's what he's talking about, closing the space. Wham. He hits me, down I go. And I got to start the whole process over. He's in total command. He's in total charge. And now you're watching me. And now the audience is picking up on it. Like, that's when you start getting that boom, boom, Taker. That's when they start to feel like, man, we can help him. We can help him get it. And you mentioned it a little bit earlier, talking about we got off of it, and I wanted to stay on it a little longer. Suspending reality. We go out of our way now to tell everybody what we do is strictly entertainment. My philosophy when I worked was to suspend people's sense of reality. I wanted them to be invested so much in my match that they thought it was legit. Everything was legit. And you can do that, and you do it by telling stories and making them invested in it. So that's the whole process that he's talking about, is him, boom, when it's his time to get his heat, wham, and me dragging myself across the ring and grabbing the second rope, and I'm pulling myself up, and they're like, man, Taker, all he's got to do is get to his feet. If he gets to his feet.
And you know why I'm laughing? Because as he's saying that, I can see myself take a step, take another step.
Closing that
and
space.
Every time that I took a step, the crowd was like, "What? Look out! Look out! Look out!" It got louder and louder. And then when I got there, he knew I was there because he could hear it.
Yeah.
He didn't have to see. He could have been blind. And he would turn right into it. Bang. Back in the bear hug. Shake him. And then I would get him to where he went down to one knee, and I just muscle him down and try to cover him. He'd kick out. God damn it. And then I back up and give him 6 feet. But see, the pacing, and he used to do this.
I got that from Flair.
Come here, but stay back.
Yeah. It's like, I want you to keep coming. I want you to keep coming, but I want you to take your time in doing it.
Yeah.
Keep coming at me.
That year, the year before we wrestled, he was like, if you're not coming to me, I can't tell you what's next. And that stuck with me. I remember leaving going, oh, shit. I get it. And it was like every week was a learning process for a year. So I knew when we led up until WrestleMania, that was my title. It was never going to get, I didn't think I was ever going to win a title at that point. Anyway.
Yeah.
I just knew that, wow, this is my shining moment. It's like I saw the documentary on A&E with Mick Foley, and Mick is tough. I mean, when I say tough, I don't mean like, MMA fighter tough. I mean
the ability to take pain and
punishment and pain. I don't know how he did it. I just, with what his physical tools he had, I don't know how he could do that. And he said that he would never be who he is without him. I'm dead straight honest that I would have never been the version of me without the matches I had with him. Because I worked with everybody else after like I was working with him. And that was, you talk about the gifts that he gave to the business don't end with just all of the matches he had and all of the money he made and all of the carrying the company. It was like the legacy of the people that came, everybody that was in the street, everybody that worked with him, that got shine. If you was able to make him sell, it legitimized you. Hurricane, stand back, and he have throw his cape, and he would grab Taker in the choke, and Taker would look at him and knock his hand down and choke slam him, bang. It legitimized Hurricane as a character.
Yeah.
Because he was able to stand there and actually put his hands on him. Those are gifts. As I hear all these stories about Andre and what Andre did for other wrestlers when he couldn't work no more. Like, that's what his last 5 years of his life was, giving life to other wrestlers, even if he didn't want to do it. Because I heard most of the time he didn't want to do it. He didn't think they were deserving.
No.
Vince picked who he did rather than him picking.
Yeah.
Mark picked me. Vince didn't pick me.
Did you go to the higher ups and say, this is a guy that I want to?
I said, yeah, because it was hard for me to find opponents. That character was built so strong.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't kill it. So trying to find legitimate opponents, well, he's the world's strongest man. Let me give it a whirl. And believe me, they had fed me early on. They had fed me some people that I was like, this guy can move. He can do some things. Let me take him.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're, go for it. And then obviously I was really proud of our match that we ended up with at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good casket match. It was
the only casket match in WrestleMania history as well.
Yeah.
And to be a part of that, and to be, that's kind of a cool thing to say that
Hey,
you're a
man,
part
to
of.
get a WrestleMania main event paycheck nice too. It was like, thank you, Jesus.
Those aren't too bad, are they?
The kids get to go to college.
So,
awesome.
Mark, who are you enjoying right now? What are you when you're watching? You said you watch 17 hours worth of wrestling a week. Who are you liking right now?
Gunther.
My man, what'd I tell you?
Brother,
What'd I tell you?
I watched him last night, him and Sheamus, and I work with Sheamus a lot.
Yeah.
We had some bang out matches, some crazy shit. And him and Gunther last night, I felt like they should have saved it for a pay-per-view.
That was a pay-per-view match, and you mentioned something earlier about where, okay, if you've hurt your wrist or something, you're not supposed to be able to. Sheamus did it last night.
That's wrestling in its purest form, what they did last night. And it was the way that we worked. It was old school. How many planches did you see?
Oh, yeah.
How many Hurricane Riders and Canadian Destroyers did you see?
You didn't need it.
None, because you didn't need it.
Yep.
Now, Sheamus normally does the flying cow. You know, when he goes outside and jumps off the top rope into the shoulder tackle. He didn't do that because he didn't need it.
Yeah.
His job was to put Gunther in jeopardy and give Gunther somebody. Sheamus is normally the Gunther's role. But Sheamus did a pseudo babyface role last night, and he did a good-ass job at it.
Yep.
He did a really good job.
Yeah. Gunther is something special right now.
That dude is he's
a throwback.
Yep.
He is a throwback guy, and I liked him when he was bigger.
Yeah.
I don't care that he's you can see abs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he is a big, tough, believable human.
Yeah.
And when I say, when I say in the dictionary, there's always a picture. When they say man, I think of Ron Simmons. That's a man.
That's a man.
But currently, when I think of, like, they say, man, show me a man in wrestling today, I have to say Gunther. He is a man. Like, he looked like he will punch you in the face as talk to you.
Do you think the fans are kind of wanting that style of wrestling again? Do you think they're kind of itching for it?
They need it.
They need it.
They need it. It ain't a question of want. It's they need. Now, I'm entertained by a bunch of guys right now, but Will Ospreay, I'm just super blown away with. Bryan Danielson, who still ceases to. I can't believe him still being able to carry the matches that he carried. Like,
he can go. He can go.
He can go. I mean, it's amazing, and can take it like Sheamus. Like, you could punch him. I used to, Sheamus, you like getting hit, don't you? And he's like, yeah, come on, fella. And it's like, some people just, Mick Foley.
Well, that's because he was stiff too.
He wanted to give it back to you.
You knew
go hit me, man. Hit me.
Hit me hard because I know I'm stiff and I'm going to hit you hard. So go ahead and get yours out too.
Sheamus is sitting in an ice tub right now after last night, though.
I know he is. I know he got the hell beat out. But even guys like, people talk about Roman Reigns. People forget that that dude have leukemia.
Oh, I know.
And for him to do what he's doing with days, and I heard there's days where he don't feel like getting up and working out. But he goes, and you see how good he looked at Mania?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For him to look like that with leukemia means that he has some days where he's so physically gone that he probably can't get out of bed.
Yeah.
So I think about that as a level of toughness and greatness, and how much he's elevated all the guys that for 3 years.
That's unheard of.
3 years.
This day and age, to have a run like that's unheard of. It
Man,
really is.
This ain't the Hulk Hogan days where, Hulk could come out there and wrestle for 6 minutes, 8 minutes against a good wrestler and they ding ding, they throw the match out.
Yeah.
Like you got to have finishes.
Yeah.
Like people want completion now. And Roman was able to have matches with Edge. He had matches with Randy. He had matches with everybody that was anybody. And he won. And guys did not cry and get the boo-boo face because, one, those main event paychecks are nice, but they was a part of something that they knew was bigger than them. And that was the thing with the streak. Nobody never was like, well, I mean, am I going to win? No, you're not going to win. It's the streak.
It's the streak. It can't be broken.
Get your ass out of here. Like, you know, the whole point is that you get to be a part of the history of wrestling. I could die tomorrow, and people going to remember that I was in a main event match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Over anything. Olympics, World Championships, World's Strongest Man. They're going to be like, remember when he was in the main event with Taker at WrestleMania 22?
Is that the match that gets asked about more than any for you?
More than anything. I won. I beat Randy for the World Championship. And people still put a match that wasn't with a title over that.
Yeah.
Which also was one of the most traumatic matches I ever had. Not only was it the greatest,
He didn't want to go in,
but I'm claustrophobic.
he didn't want to go in that box. He didn't want to go in that box.
Bro, I was in there for 8 minutes and 47 seconds.
You remember all the way down to the last second.
And when I heard lightning strike, I was like, okay. And then it was another 4 minutes before they pushed me through the curtain in the back. They opened it. I jumped out, didn't even touch the sides, and ran up the ramp. And that was the only way I could breathe. I don't think I breathed the whole time I was in there.
I don't know if I'd want to be in one either.
He was big.
Like I get claustrophobic watching movies of people
Yeah. I don't like it.
in tight places. You ever see Kill Bill?
Oh, yeah.
When they
Yeah.
put Uma Thurman in the coffin?
Yeah.
I remember seeing that start to happen. I've never seen that part of the movie.
Yeah.
Because I can't. It just makes me not be able to breathe.
So you hate tight places. That's why you
Hey,
hang out in them
there-
strip clubs
there's
all
a
the time.
there's a few things.
Hot dog in the hallway.
There's a few things. This man probably, and you know, I use this cliche a lot. Mark's one of them guys that he wants to be alone. He can be alone,
Yeah.
right? But don't put a needle around him.
I don't like a needle.
I have watched this. For as tough a human being as this man is, so once the company went public, and then we started this wellness process and the wellness program, and it wasn't just about drug tests. I mean, they took our hearts, and we actually started getting treated like professional athletes. And the way to do it economically, because everybody had to have stress tests and everybody had to have all these echocardiograms and everything, they would do them at TV. And they would have everybody, that's when everybody's there, right? And I remember, so I don't know, they had to draw blood. Bart's already told them, like, everybody, actually they didn't have to tell them. Everybody at this point knows that Mark and needles do not get along. So I believe they give you a Valium. I could Xanax. And they waited until they waited for him to go to sleep. Mark finally goes to sleep, and I've seen on two different. One, like they are actually rock paper scissoring to see who's going to draw Mark's blood because they don't want him to wake up with a needle in his arm. And I've actually seen them argue, like, no, I did it last time. You got to do it. And then Larry Heck being in the middle of it, getting it all stirred up, but not wanting to stick a needle in this man's arm is just, it is humor at a whole nother level, watching grown men, professional medical grown men playing rock, paper, scissors to see who is going to take his blood and you had never seen so much relief on the winner's face. Like,
Thank God I don't have to be the one to do
thank
it.
God I don't have to do it. It's just priceless, man.
Man, I was traumatized as a little kid. My daughter just found out. Like, I have some mutant qualities. Mm-hmm. Like, most people have one wisdom tooth on the top on your right side and one on the bottom on your right side, one on your left and one on the bottom on the left. I had 4. I had 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. My daughter just went to the dentist because her jaw was hurting. She got the same I got. We have 4 more teeth than normal humans. So we different. And now she's going to have to go have the surgery that I had with no medication.
What?
Because the reason that they pulled my tooth, they pulled those 4 teeth out without Novocaine, because every time they stuck me, it wouldn't go numb. And like my whole childhood got f***ed up because the doctors didn't know better, and they traumatized me. So I explained this to her recently, and the dentist, they have a surgery center in Georgetown that's going to do it. And I told her, I said, "You're welcome," because they ruined me. And she blessed that we could afford. We got insurance. Yeah. We could afford to get her good help.
These guys making fun of y'all.
It's 3,000 people in my town. We had 2 doctors.
One was a vet.
And I would have probably rather the vet work on me. I mean, it was there's a reason. That's the reason that I'm so needlephobic, is because they just kept stabbing me, and it still didn't work.
Well, the thing is being scared of needles, there's nothing wrong with that. It's when you're scared of a vegetable that I think is pretty.
I heard about this. It's a name for it. But I can't exactly remember the name
when you're scared
right now.
of cucumbers.
But Paul Bearer,
evil man.
Him and Owen, I'm glad that Owen didn't know about it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Owen didn't know about it.
Yeah, me too.
Because when I found out, I kept going, why? And I asked you why, and you just shook your head and said, I just don't. I just don't.
There's a reason. I just because anywhere time Paul was around, he just was. I love him to death, but he was evil. He just had an evil side to him. You remember what he did to Eugene in Pittsburgh
with
his placard? Yeah, Eugene. Yeah, that Eugene. Yeah. I can't. We'll probably get canceled.
Yeah, we'll get canceled. You can't talk about that.
Anyway, I just ate too many cucumbers as a kid. At one setting, I got sick, couldn't smell them. Anyway, I'm not scared of cucumbers. I don't like cucumbers. I don't like the taste of them. I don't like the smell of them.
Well, the internet says you're scared.
Well, you know what? Why don't you go take yourself and go on the internet after you go buy some real shoes? What are you wearing? What is that on your feet?
Combat flip-flops, veteran owned and operated, and they give their money back to help females in third world countries to be able to get education.
Well,
and
that is beautiful. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it really is.
You know that there's people out there with foot fetishes.
This is for them. This is for the. Let's land.
So you out there?
Let's land this plane.
If I had feet look like that, I would keep them covered up. That's all I'm saying.
No.
That's
me and Jesus.
You should see mine.
We don't want to see that.
But you keep shoes on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and socks.
Mine, I got good looking feet.
No, you don't have good looking feet.
There's no such thing as good looking feet.
I got beach feet. I got good looking beach feet.
We ain't at the beach.
These feet are meant for the beach.
We're a long way from the beach. And you over here just flip flopping around here.
Yeah, I'm comfortable, is what I am.
You're comfortable. Well, that's the problem right there. That's the problem. You're way too comfortable.
I'm comfortable.
You're comfortable with being you, with a thing in between your toes.
At
least have the kind that go over the foot.
No, I don't like slides. No.
Oh, now you prejudice against the
No,
slides.
I just don't like slides.
He's prejudiced.
I like regular flip flops.
Oh yeah, he is. He definitely.
Let's land this plane. How about that?
Let's land the plane.
Let's land this plane.
When did you become the pilot? First off, why don't you go in the back and serve some drinks? I'm here talking. I'm trying to talk to Mark. I ain't even got to some of the good stuff that I've seen this man do.
Well, that's where I feel like Mark is local. If oh my God, if Mark isn't a regular guest, I don't know.
I didn't make these.
What is this?
Look how big they made mine. They made mine huge.
Look at those hands.
I think it's genetic.
Damn.
And
Why is Mark bald?
he had a hat, and we lost the hat.
And my hair was in the hat.
They didn't put the hair was in the hat.
So it's true.
So the internet's good.
So you know that there's a rumor that his ponytail's fake.
Is it for real?
No, it's not fake. It's my hair.
The story.
No,
I didn't know that
this
was
is
the
my.
story.
This is my hair.
The internet says that.
But you know how them idiots on the internet, they got
It's
nothing better
Paul
to do.
Heyman thing.
They said that Taker's going to go in the Hall of Fame. He's going to have 3 inductions: the Undertaker, the Brothers of Destruction, and the ponytail.
Anyway.
You're gonna get your ass choke slammed.
Yeah,
over
no,
here
yeah,
in a
he
minute.
gonna get So have you seen the hand lately? We're gonna digress since we've already digressed. We're gonna go all the way to the
You know what that is, right?
hand.
Yeah.
Bad TV
You'll-
great TV, however way you want to look
It
at
was
it.
great TV.
It was so bad it was good.
It was so bad that it was great. That's another thing that's going to outlive me. Is the birth of the hand.
Do you know what we're talking about?
I know what you're talking
Me
about.
and Mae
yeah.
Young,
Yeah.
were an item and sexual
Yeah.
chocolate and
Did y'all really do it?
no, I kissed her though.
Tongue?
She tried.
I bet she did.
She tried.
Well, May.
She is a mess.
Ooh.
Bruce Pritchard almost died shooting the Valentine's Day deal. I listen. This Valentine's, we had a Valentine's Day out at a hotel, and they're recording it and everything, and that's usually how my dates go. And May is trying. I had these red silk boxes on with hearts on them and stuff.
Sexual chocolate.
And she kept trying to open the fly. Come on, let me see it. Let me see it. I'm like, stop, man, stop. Come on, let's do it. And Bruce cannot hold it together. I'm like, hey, man, be professional. You're supposed to be working. And he's like crying, laughing, and had to sit down on the floor and let other people produce his segment.
May's 85 at this point, maybe.
Yeah, she had to be at least 82, 85.
Did she give you some ashwagandha?
I didn't need
Didn't
it.
need it. Not with May.
She was just walking by.
So May was enjoying life all the way,
Dude.
in the golden years.
May took a Dudley bomb
I know.
in her 80s.
Off the top to the floor.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, and got up like nothing. I was just like, holy crap.
So she rode with me a few times, and it got a little spicy. And she would tell me the stuff she went through when she came into wrestling, and she was Miss Texas.
Okay.
You know that, right?
Well, I did
didn't
not
know
know
that.
that.
I got pictures of her.
I bet you do.
I got the real pictures. No, but I got pictures of her when she was Miss Texas, and she was a beautiful woman.
Wow.
And I mean, like to today's standard, like Tiffany Stratton looking, beautiful.
Wow.
And the guys would like, boys would be the boys. And they would treat her bad. She was dressed in broom closets. Like they didn't, they wouldn't give her a room to dress. Like she had to go use the bathroom out where the fans used to go use the bathroom. Like they didn't want her they didn't want women in wrestling back then. And there was a couple of people that was very crass. They walk in, pull their pants down. Hey, come on over here and handle this. bro, she told me stuff that I was like, come on, that didn't happen. And it got to the point to where she had to start fighting back. And she told me she would tell people, if you're going to disrespect me, at least zip your pants. And they would look down and zip, and she would kick them in the balls and stomp them. Like, and she got a reputation of being a hard ass. And she used to take a pair of pliers in her bag. And they would be like, why do you have pliers?
I don't doubt that.
In case I have to hurt somebody. That, like, she didn't carry a blade because you couldn't travel with a blade. But them pliers, everybody knew what the was up with the pliers. God, no. Like, she was tough. And she said that there was another woman named Mildred Burke, and there was another woman that she traveled with who was a black woman wrestler. And she said that she knew what it was like to be black because her and the other woman had to travel together, and they treated them equal. They treated them exactly the same.
Just because she was friends with them?
And just because, and she said that that was a hard time for wrestling. And like where wrestling is today, these girls should be coming up thanking me. And I think that people did feel that way, but they just didn't always go and prove it. And I hate that she didn't get that kind of love and respect from the women that she deserved. But like she was special, man. And that whole sexual chocolate thing was fun as hell. I mean, they paid me, and I'm glad they paid me to do it. But man, I would have done that for free. It was so much fun.
It was funny.
Every week it was something funny. And I had to ask Vince, I said, Vince, what's the deal with the hand? Like, why would they pull a hand out? And he said, because I'm giving you a hand. And I said, a what? Like, why? He said, Mark, I'm giving you a hand. And I went, you messed up, man. You all right? Like, he is something else, man. And I always respect him, always love him because he gave me opportunity, and he taught me a lot about business. He whatever problems, things that happen, you know what? That's out of my control. I never saw nothing, but what I got was good education. I got introduced to corporate America because of him, and I got introduced to a part of history that without him saying, "Hey man, I want that guy," like it would have never happened. So, I'm much appreciated of the hand that I got.
I don't. Can we end on the hand? I don't. Mark, tell me this. Will you come back?
We got part 2. We ain't even talk about.
That's what I'm saying.
There's 7 parts of this.
Thelonious capers. All the times I went to jail drinking with y'all when I shouldn't have been. I'm allergic to alcohol. I don't drink because I go to jail. Yeah. That's one of the symptoms. Every time I drink, Japan, a cop was like telling us we had to leave. And I didn't want to leave, and I had him hemmed up against the wall. He's like, you got to let him go. I don't remember this. This is a story that was told to me.
No, it was true. Yes.
I don't believe it.
Mark, we have to go. We have to go now. Okay. I don't know what it was by the voice of reason, but man, we just can't thank you enough. This has just brought back so many good memories, and I tell you what, if I wish you'd come back, man. But there's a lot of stuff we didn't even get to. Moving cars to let our bus get out.
I think you got to be a regular. I think this has got to be every.
I'll come and put you over.
No, I don't need to be put over. I don't need to be put over. But I there's just, you have so much history. We have history, And there's so much
We
stuff.
didn't get to talk about Yoko.
I know, that's what
There's
I'm
so
saying.
I used to drive Yoko.
There's
I was
so
a young
much.
boy.
There's so much.
We got to hold it. We got to keep it.
Keep it in the condom.
Keep it in the condom. We're gonna bust it at some other point. But I just really appreciate you coming in. And some of the things that I've witnessed you do just need to be discussed in a forum where people can go.
I have questions too.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I have some.
Well, Mark, where can people find you? What are you doing these days now?
You know what, man? You can, if you're trying to get hold of me, themarkhenry.com is my website. You can get you some of this beautiful, remarkable merchandise and all the sponsors that come along with me and get educated on that stuff. But also, I'm on Sirius XM, Busted Open.
Y'all do a great job, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, you really do. A lot of different insight. Dave and Bubba and Tommy and you. It's a good combination. I love it when you guys argue.
I stopped by WrestleMania the second day, and you guys were set up, and I was standing there on the side stage with my wife and watched the show for a little bit. Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. I love it. It's a way to get your opinion across, but it's also, we have a show called The Masters Class that airs on Sunday, and that's the show that's geared to cater to wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like, it's not for the fans. The fans listen to it, but
of course,
which kind of, I feel dirty sometimes with the content that we have on that show, because it's geared, and we have wrestlers call in, and we counsel them and explain to them what we're seeing as a deficient in their game.
Wow.
And the guys will be like, "Hey man, can I talk to y'all off the air?" Because they don't want to. And I'm not gonna never stooge nobody out. But like, man, we talk to elite wrestlers.
Yeah.
We talk to guys that are holding titles. So I'm working with this guy. Why did y'all say y'all don't like? Because most of the time it's guys that we criticize them.
Yeah.
That's what I
and
think.
LA Knight, I'm gonna mention him because I was critical because I thought he copied. And then he proved to me that he had his own spin and he got over.
Yeah.
And that's what we were talking about. Like, it's okay to take from history because that's what I did.
Everybody does.
I copied everything I ever did, but I just didn't want it to look like I copied.
Yeah.
And
you had to put your own spin on it.
Right. So I put my spin on it. And he found a way to put his spin on it, and it took off. And now people don't no more. And he told me at WrestleMania last year, he was like, I said, man, I'm a phone call away. Everybody got my number. I was like, don't never feel like I'm gonna try to fight you because we have a disagreement.
That's the big thing, I think, with the internet, and everybody gets so bent out of shape, and everybody think you could be critical of me, or you could say, well, I didn't like such a, and they think everybody takes it personally. It's not a personal attack. You're doing something that is out in public for people to watch and be entertained. So people have critiques.
I told you about my mom. Like, my mom did not like him having the cross because I told you she was the God woman.
Yeah.
She was the church lady.
Yeah.
She was so critical of him.
Didn't help that I hung people on it either.
Yeah, I mean, that's all about
it's all semantics. But
she didn't like none of it.
Yeah.
And I used to be like, Mom, like, it's entertainment. Like, he's a good dude. He believe in God. And she's like, well, he gonna go to hell with burning crosses and all of that. I said, Mom, he not burning crosses. He putting people on, like, but your mind will run with you if you don't put people on the path and say what is. And, that critical thing, like, some people will never get out of it. They have a belief and they entitled to it. That's them. But if it ain't talked about, it's gonna be perceived as something that's real. And I would rather have the situation debunked and everybody know what the factual part of it is than it to be left to speculation.
Yeah.
So
old school mentality. I love it. I love it. There's a little bit left in the world.
there's still a couple of us out there.
There's still a couple, man. We got to keep it. We got to keep it up, man. We got to keep it alive. Keep that old school
If we
mentality.
don't, it's gonna be like Cirque du Soleil.
It is. It's
getting
close
there.
It's close already.
It's getting there, but I'm definitely gonna come back. Y'all tell me, when y'all want to bump in the ratings.
Hey,
just
every week.
shine the bat signal up, or the pork chop signal, like
Terry Black's.
There you go.
I'm trying to get them to be a sponsor.
He don't come. He don't
call
come to.
That's all I want.
Hey, let me tell you
He
something.
tell you, I know everybody.
He
in
knows
Austin.
everybody in Austin.
I'm a Terry Black
I
guy.
try to go to Uchi, it's best sushi in town,
Yeah.
right? Call. We don't have any reservations. I call Mark. I said, Mark, man, I'm trying to take Michelle to Uchi. Hang on. 15 minutes later, he calls him back. All right, 7:30. You got a table. And it's like that with everybody in town. He knows everybody, and he's connected with everybody.
I used to be
He's
like
like
that
the
in
Don.
Savannah,
He's like
you
the
know?
Don of Austin. He just-
Jacob, this is Mark Henry. Hit me back. The Undertaker wants you to be a sponsor on his podcast. And I'm sitting here doing this podcast right now, and we waiting on you to call us back.
All we need is a food.
and with that,
Let's get a beef rib, boys.
let's go get some ribs. Mark, man, thank you, my man. Thank you so much.
Brother. I love you, man. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
brother. I appreciate
Let me
you,
get over
man.
there.
It was
London
great
Bridge.
meeting you. I just want to say thank you to Happy Dad for sponsoring us, WileyX, First Form, Magic Mind, Ridge Wallets. Mark, take you one of those
Is there
Ridge
alcohol
wallets.
in this?
There is. It's a hard
no.
seltzer.
No,
you
I'm
can't.
allergic.
Hard seltzer.
We're going to give you one of them Ridge
How
wallets.
about a
to
Ridge
take.
wallet?
You
You
can
got-
take your Ridge wallet with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
on.
Elite
something.
ball taker though.
Yeah,
You got
you
elite
got
ball
elite ball
taker.
I got lead ball taker. I'm gonna find that hat.
We need the hat. But no, Mark, thank you very much for stopping by. And yeah, Taker, we got to do.
Parting gifts.
Oh,
He's
easy.
got to.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, he's got to be part of it. We appreciate you, man.
I told you I had friends with
Always
personality.
Oh Lord,
I always wanted a Ridge wallet.
that's
I believe in product
Only
placement.
the best here, brother.
that's.